Okay, let me start with a question that's probably bugging you too. Is the Democratic Party actually undergoing a revolution, or is this just another cycle of political theater? Because if you blinked, you might have missed the seismic shift happening right now. Abdul El-Sayed's win in Michigan isn't just another primary victory, it's a declaration of war on the party's establishment. And honestly, this feels like the most fascinating power struggle since, well, maybe ever. Let's break this down. El-Sayed, a progressive with a Rhodes Scholar resume and a platform calling for universal healthcare and cutting military aid to Israel, just took down a congresswoman who had $60 million backing her. $60 million. That's not just a David versus Goliath story, it's David using Goliath's own sword to decapitate him. But here's the thing, this isn't random. This is part of a pattern where the left isn't just winning races, they're rewriting the playbook. And personally, I think this is the most underrated story in American politics right now. What makes this so interesting is how it flips the traditional electability argument on its head. For years, Democrats have played it safe, telling voters, sure, we'd love to do X or Y, but we need to be realistic. But El-Sayed's campaign doubled down on the issues the establishment considers toxic, like calling out Israel's actions in Gaza, and guess what? It worked. Why? Because younger voters, especially in places like Michigan with large Arab American communities, are done tolerating vague centrism while the world burns. The AIPAC money that once guaranteed victory now feels like a curse. And honestly, this mirrors what we're seeing globally, people are rejecting parties that act like they're stuck in 2008. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't just about one Senate seat. It's about identity. The Democratic Party is facing an existential crisis. Does it double down on its New Deal roots, or keep drifting toward the third-way neoliberalism of the 90s? The DLC's legacy, Clinton, Blair, that whole era, was built on triangulation, right? But today's left is saying, screw triangulation, let's just flip the table. And they're winning because they're addressing the real crises people face: housing, healthcare, student debt. Centrists keep talking about unity, but if you're drowning, a life preserver labeled moderate reform doesn't cut it. But here's where it gets messy. The establishment isn't going quietly. You've got groups like Third Way planning $15 million campaigns to smear democratic socialism as un-American. Sound familiar? It's the same fearmongering we saw during the Red Scare, but with TikTok ads. And while progressives are riding high after Michigan, they still control a tiny fraction of actual party infrastructure. Let's not forget, the DNC isn't exactly handing over the keys. This is a long game, and the blowback could get ugly. I mean, Norman Solomon's right to be worried about corporate Democrats scorned by losing primaries. These folks have spent decades building a machine, they won't dismantle it just because AOC has a viral tweet. So what's next? Well, 2020 success midterms are about keeping this momentum, but 2028 is where it all blows up. If progressives keep winning, they'll force the party to choose. Do they embrace full-throated economic populism, or double down on being the lesser evil? And here's a wild thought: what if this split creates a third-party movement? Imagine a Bernie-crat party running on wealth taxes and anti-war policies while Democrats scramble to hold their coalition together. It's not as crazy as it sounds. After all, Trump radicalized the right, why shouldn't the left respond in kind? Look, I'll admit, I'm skeptical this revolution will stay peaceful. The establishment's got too much to lose. But what excites me is the possibility that a generation raised on climate chaos and income inequality might finally force a reckoning. El-Sayed's win proves voters aren't too tired for radical change, they're tired of being ignored. So here's my question to you: is this the start of the Democratic Party's rebirth, or its funeral? Drop your take in the comments, because trust me, this is only getting started.